Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It's Hila here from Saturday Night Stitch. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's post. I am actually going to be sharing with you some sewing plans. Okay, what's this about? Well, it's a new decade, it's a new year. I thought I'd try something different, which is actually sharing some sewing plans with you. Okay, so I'm just going to dive straight into it. And by the way, if you're new to this channel, I'd like to extend a warm welcome. And I'd like to invite you to subscribe if you like sewing, dressmaking, anything to do with sewing magazines, sewing patterns, vintage sewing machines, all of that stuff. I put out content on a weekly basis. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back and thank you for tuning in. Okay, let's jump straight into it. So I'm going to be making some dresses for my girls using an Ottobre Kids Design 1 2014 pattern, but I will put the pictures up there. And I'm going to be using a velour, and it's a stretch velour. So I've got the fuchsia pink, and I've got a lovely emerald green trim over here. They love things that are pseudo shiny, and this has got the pseudo shine to it, and it's very comfortable, and it's got a decent amount of stretch. Okay, and Ottobre Kids magazine, I love that magazine. It's fantastic for kids, and I have done a tutorial on how to use that, which I'll link to in the description box below. This fabric was from Fabrics for All, which is pretty awesome, as was the trim as well. So I'm super excited about sewing this. Another thing that I'm going to be sewing for my kids, for my son, is I'm going to make him a simple raglan sleeve jumper using this exact same fabric, but in a different colorway. It's in a navy. But again, very textural. He's a very tactile kind of child, and so he loves things that are soft and shiny. So that's the kids sewing that I'm going to be doing. And then what else do I have next? Leopard print. I kind of feel like I should always start off the year with leopard print. But I have this crepe fabric, which I can't remember where I bought this from. Because actually I shopped this from my collection. I'll have to check. But it's a crepe fabric, and it's a crepe jersey fabric. And I'm going to use it to make a turtleneck jumper. I'm going to use a Grasa pattern. And Grasa is a Russian sewing pattern company that teaches designers how to design and people how to do industrial sewing and things like that. And they also do patterns, but the patterns have got industrial size seam allowances, so you kind of have to know what you're doing. But I love the drafting on them. The drafting is really excellent, and I love the smaller seam allowances. So this is going to be a turtleneck, just like so. And I think I'm going to like it. So there we go. Sewing plan. And then the other thing that I'm going to be sewing is using some silk. Now last year, 2019, it was my first time actually sewing with silk, because I'd been very, very scared of that fabric, but it wasn't that bad. So the garment that I made was not the greatest by any means whatsoever, but it kind of made me realize that silk isn't as scary as I thought it was. So enter this houndstooth, which according to Minerva, which is where I got this fabric from, it's an ex-Armani designer fabric. And I did actually find on the interwebs a picture of the Armani dress that they used this fabric on. So this is 100% silk, and it's like a silk satiny thingy, and it's a giant houndstooth, but it's got blurry edges. But I just thought that this is a really, really fabulous color. And oddly enough, given that this is a fabulous fabric, the pattern that I've chosen to sew is from the Embroidered issue that I did not bond with at all. So let me just show you. So it's from Embroidered July 2019, which was not my favorite Embroidered at all. But there was this pattern that I did trace out, and I thought that it would be perfect for that. And it's pattern number 107, which is just a halter neck. And that's so the idea is with this fabric, I would just lengthen it to make it like into a swing dress, maybe just above my knees, because if I'm going to go for something that's short, I really like to go for something short. So that's what this is going to be. It's going to be this, and fingers crossed it stays like that, because sometimes I do change my mind, but I'm hoping that I can be more steadfast in my plans by actually sharing them. trying something new. But yeah, it feels very nice and very light and it's very floaty as well. I don't think I'm going to need any lining with it. It's quite nice and substantial weight, but we'll have to see. But one thing I am doing though is I am buying the specialist interfacing that I need to work with silk, because in the last silk garment that I did, I didn't use the specialist feather light interfacing, and it shows on the armhole and on the neckline. So I'm definitely going to do that because this is 100% silk. You know, I want to develop my silk sewing skills. Okay, so that's that one. And then the next thing that I have is a Lady McElroy cotton lawn. And I love the geometric print on this fabric, and it's a cotton lawn, so it's very light, very crisp, you know. So this is definitely going to be one of those fantastic transitional wardrobe colors, but it's got like this geometric pattern. It's got mustards, it's got navy blues, blacks, and whites, and absolutely perfect. The pattern is so busy, I don't really have to worry about pattern matching, which is a plus for me because I tend not to like to have to do pattern matching on a large scale. So when I got this, I pretty much knew that I wanted to make a wrap dress out of it. So I went through most of my Embroidered magazines to see if I could find a wrap dress pattern, and I did. And here we are. So this is my favorite Embroidered issue of 2019, by the way. It's the September 2019 issue. I would make almost everything in this issue. So I was very pleased because then I can actually make this wrap dress number 107 over there. And that's what I'm going to make with that fabric. So, see if I can see. I think that's just going to be fabulous. Love it. So that's what I'm going to make with that cotton lawn. And then I also have this beautifully embroidered cotton, which I've already pre-washed because I wanted to make sure that this wasn't a fussy fabric. Because I'm a low maintenance kind of person. I don't like fabrics that are going to require me to be, you know, kind of like gently holding it. I like for things to be easily washable, you know, except for maybe one or two silk garments, I can handle that. But for the most part, most of my things have to be easy wash and easy care. And so I pre-washed this to check and make sure that the fact that it's an embroidered cotton isn't going to impact on it. And I've got the two colorways, right? There's a blue and a pink. And I really wanted to make something very boho chic, very summery with it. And it took me a while to figure out what I would make with it. And so far, what I have is a Murphy dress 3171, which I will show you over here. And I think that this is going to be fabulous with that. I might make some tweaks to it, like adding a belt, because I think this would look really lovely if you could sort of make a belt out of it. I considered making a Giselle maxi dress with it, but I kind of feel like I need to give the Giselle a break because I made two of them last year. So I'm going to do the Murphy and play around with the color, with the different colorways. So that's something that I'm really excited to. But it's a really beautiful cotton. I will probably need to underline this, but I'm going to underline it with a silk harbor tie. I've got some white silk harbor tie somewhere in my collection, and I will use that on the you know, the critical sections of the body. So, oh, kind of matches my earrings. Just realized that. Okay, so those are my sewing plans for the coming month. And yeah, I will report back at the end of the month as to what I've actually made. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you've stayed until the end, I really, really appreciate that. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe because I do put out sewing related content every single week. And I'd also love to hear what you think. What do you think about some of these fabrics? Am I missing the boat somewhere? Is there a pattern that you think would go perfectly with one of these fabrics? Let me know in the comments box as soon as possible before I actually cut into it, because I do check out the recommendations and I have discovered a lot of fantastic new patterns from some of you guys seeing some things that I'm not necessarily seeing. So let me know in the comments box down below, and until I see you next time, guys, happy sewing. Bye.